What if I told you you could slow down or actually reverse the aging process and feel younger forever? This week on Connect, we sit down with a woman who will help you do just that and discover the fountain of youth within yourself. She's a professionally trained ballerina, fitness guru, and the author of the New York Times best-selling book, Aging Backwards. She is also the host of the popular PBS program Classical Stretch. Miranda Esmonde-White puts fitness first, and she's here to show us how easy it is just to incorporate it into our everyday lives and make exercise part of our routine. Miranda Esmonde-White, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
We are buzzing behind the scenes because your program is so popular on our station. You are a staple to the PBS family, but we're going to get to your program and your pledge show a little bit later. We're going to get down to brass tacks and talk about exercising as it is. To begin with, it takes a lot of motivation. So how do you, Miranda Esmonde-White, motivate others to lace up those sneakers and start exercising, or do you think motivation is something that needs to come from within?
Well, that's a really good question because that's always been the problem. We're not properly educated, and starting with youth. So a lot of people have had negative experiences in school, and not everybody is going to be the pro athlete and picked for the teams, and a lot of people are awkward and uncomfortable and have been made fun of because of their their inadequacy to be able to fit the image as children. So they grow up with the wrong attitude towards fitness. So that's one of the problems. And the school system, just as a society, we don't have anything to offer these kids. It's either join the teams or you're a loser in a way. So what we have to do, which I would love to get more involved in, is bringing more universal fitness in for children, having them do, gym, playing in the playground, just enjoying movement, and because you have to appreciate your body moving. And so these kids just stop. So a lot of people have told me that that's one thing that stops them right away as they grow into adulthood. They don't ever want to go anywhere near exercising because they felt bad about themselves, their body image. So the other thing is a lot of people hate how hard it is, or they can't do fitness. So there's so many reasons why that are valid and emotional, and so we have to get through all those barriers. But the thing about it that I've found with my Classical Stretch TV show, and then I started giving lectures, and this was many, many years ago, and the lectures were on the science behind our body. And it was the science that motivated people.
And you do talk a lot about the science. You've gone into great detail as it comes to the science. And the beautiful thing is you've taken the science behind aging and incorporated that with movements that almost everybody can do. Eccentrics is the type of exercise that you've created. So explain to us a little bit about what eccentrics exactly is.
So eccentrics, there's two ways of moving. So I'm going to use my fingers. Okay, so you can either contract your muscles, like when you are resistance training. Running means that you're going to land on the ground and your muscles will shorten. So this is the way that we've been training our bodies for hundreds of years. Eccentrics is the way we move normally in life. Like when you're reaching into a cupboard, you're going to pull your muscles this way. So you're reaching up into a high cupboard and your muscles are lengthening, but they're having to lift a heavy pot or something. So they're strengthening in the lengthened position. Now the human body is designed to do both. That's what we're designed to do. We have to be be able to shorten and lengthen because a healthy muscle has to be able to move.
Right.
So concentric training shortens and shortens and compresses the muscles till after a while they don't move as much as they're designed to. They'll still move a bit, but that's why people get tighter as they do a lot of sports. They get tighter and tighter because they're compressing and the muscle length shortens.
So you're training people to do everyday movements. You're helping people get up off the couch. You're helping them reach for that oatmeal on the top shelf. So what would someone gain from incorporating this exercise into their everyday life? Is it just helping them go through the normal motions, or will they actually continue to strengthen their bodies?
Anytime you move, anytime, like I move my baby finger, it needs strength to move it. Everything requires strength. All movement requires strength. So people don't think that. They think, oh, in order to strengthen, I have to do weights and all. No, movement. Look at you. You weigh something. You're not.
I do. More than I want to at this point, but that's okay. No. That's why you're here. You're here to help us. So.
No. But we are a weight. Our body is a weight. So as we're moving it, we're moving a weight through space. So we are always strengthening our body. So any movement we make, whether we're bending, stretching, reaching, we're strengthening. But we've been trained to think of strengthening in a very narrow boundaries.
Lifting those weights, and you have to
gyms
chest press and do all sorts of barbell curls. So this is body resistance. You're not sitting there with dumbbells. You are using the resistance of your body weight to help strengthen what is already there.
Using movements that will strengthen the muscles so they can move in and out as they're designed to do, so that then we can walk up the stairs easily. Because if our muscles are tight, then we're going to be creaking up the stairs. Sure. And they can be tight. I call this the Goldilocks.
The Goldilocks.
Yeah, the Goldilocks.
Yes,
yeah.
Which I read
so
about.
They're either going to be too tight or too weak, but they have to be perfect. They have to be flexible and strong, and they have to be both. Weak is kiss of death. And too tight is also the kiss of death, because you end up with arthritis and all kinds of things at a young age.
Certainly. And you talk about the Goldilocks effect, not only for finding that balance within the body, but also when it comes to exercise as a whole.
Right.
Because if you do too little, you're not going to see those results. But if you go into overtraining, where you'll see some people spend hours upon hours at the gym, they're doing that cardio, they're doing all sorts of weight training and essentially overdoing it.
Overdoing it. So they overdo it, and there's a lot of people, like, I like to go to the extreme because people can understand it. Our pro athletes, football players, Olympians, who I train these people, a lot of them are old men and old women in their 30s. They look gorgeous, but they're on heavy narcotics because they're in so much pain. I mean, so much pain. And we know this about pro football players. It's well documented. Sure. And I know this about Olympians. Their muscles are so compressed. When your muscles can't move, the body sends the message, the brain sends a message saying these immobile muscles are dying. So here's these beautiful bodies dying inside, and their careers are over. So that's the extreme. And we see a lot of people in gyms and who are looking kind of worn out, and they're in their 40s and 50s. They're not looking young, and then they're gone.
Well, and you
so where are they after? Where are those?
It's a short career.
Yeah,
it is.
So they've obviously done something wrong. Recently, I was giving a workshop for 180 instructors in the fitness field, all different people in the fitness field. So I asked them all to raise their hands. Who is injured or in pain? They weren't ready for the question, so at least 80% of them rose their hands.
Oh my goodness.
This is the fitness instructors, 80%. And I'm figuring the other 20 just maybe hadn't identified with their pain, because I found that fitness instructors are in the worst shape. So fitness is unfit, making people unfit. It's making them unfit, and it's making their people unfit. So we have to rethink fitness, because fitness is a wonderful, we need it, but we need to understand how to stay fit.
And just because someone appears to be in the best shape doesn't equate to what's going on beneath that beauty.
Yeah.
And there is a mentality that your programs target an older audience.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily true. We talk about aging backwards, but you say that the wilting period starts at 40 years old.
It does. It actually can start younger than that, but for a normal person who's sort of fit, it starts at around 40. But it's happening now in school kids because they're not exercising in the school. There's no gym, so that they're starting to find osteoporosis and arthritis in school-age kids, in teenagers. It's so scary. That's why they're saying that the next generation of children will die before their parents, because they're aging rapidly. But That's just a statistic, that's a headline, but behind that headline is years of pain those children will be in, because it's painful to have arthritis.
Well, it's painful, but also we talk about working out. We also need to talk about what backs the working out, and that's nutrition. I mean, there's been a huge epidemic with the chemicals and what is being consumed. How important is nutrition in this overall picture to sustain the gains that you're making or improve upon the body that you hope to have?
I'm very, very, very cognizant and aware of nutrition, and for myself, I'm really on top of my own nutrition, but I'm not a nutritionist, and this hasn't been my field. So nutrition and fitness are equally important. One, you can eat as well as you want, but your body will atrophy and die if you don't exercise. But if you exercise and you're eating garbage, the garbage will destroy you. So the two have to be done equally. So you're 100% right. But I don't want to talk about nutrition and give nutritional advice, because that's not my specialty.
Absolutely. But your specialty is getting us up, getting us out of bed. We actually have a clip from your classical stretch, which we show here weekday mornings. Here we go. We have it up on the screen right there. The thing that is the ultimate distraction, you take us away to these beautiful resorts. Where are some of these shot?
Well, they're shot in Mexico and Jamaica.
Gorgeous.
We're trying to go a little further afield, but it's just so nice to shoot there, and they're so accommodating, these resorts that we go to. And it's lovely. And people like exercising. They say they like the sets, so that's what we do. We go to, because it's nice to wake up to a beach or a beautiful garden and it's snowing outside.
Seriously, look at that. I mean, especially when we wake up in the middle of November, December. It could happen at any time. We're just waiting for that first snowfall. Then we wake up and you're just so fluid with your movements. Let's talk about how this all began for you. You are a classically trained ballerina. So take us back to your schooling. And
so I went to the National Ballet School, which is a boarding school for ballet dancers, and you do your academics as well as ballet. And then I graduated and joined the National Ballet Company. So I spent 4 or 5 years in the company, and then left, sort of finding my path, because I was looking for something that wasn't really ballerina stuff at the time. You know, but I broke my foot. I broke my foot really badly in 7 places. So, you know, going on point was painful. And I wasn't sure if I would 100% recover. So I that was it. And then I opened a fitness center in Montreal and designed a program. My students I was doing aerobics. It was the Jane Fonda era, so I was doing aerobics, teaching aerobics and all that. And everybody's bodies, including mine, were bulking up. And my students wanted something that lengthened their muscles. They wanted to look like ballet dancers. And I did a survey of outside my center and to see why people weren't doing fitness. And a lot of them hated the music, hated the pounding steps, hated the sweating, hated the screaming, they
hated all of it. They didn't want any part of it.
Oh, but they wanted a fitness class that made them look thin and flexible and something which was soft and nice and gave results. So I was, at the same time as all of this was happening, my center had been open about 10 years. I was suffering from chronic back pain, and the kind of back pain that you cannot move, so in bed and crippled. And I had years of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 o'clock chiropractor appointments just so I could stand up and keep moving.
Function day to day.
Yeah, so I really understood back pain. And someone was renting my studio, a Tai Chi master, and I love Tai Chi, so for years I was doing his Tai Chi and doing all those smooth, fluid movements. So I incorporated the move that the chiropractor was doing on my spine. So it was a 15-minute session, and about whatever it was, just moved my spine, so I was then out of pain for a few hours. So I put a lot of the spine movements, what I was sort of visualizing he was doing, into this program, so just to move the spine. And I did the smoothness of Tai Chi, the artistry of what I knew, because I'm an artist, and then and the move of Tai Chi, and then I started. I had mentors all along, and I still do have these incredible mentors. People just sort of fall from heaven to guide me, you know.
Well, people would say the same about you, because you have taken your gift, all this exercise, all this research that you've developed. You teach eccentrics across the world.
Right.
And this is to age anyone.
Anyone.
No one is excluded.
No,
So tell us
anyone.
about some of the folks who have come under your training and how they take your program into their everyday world.
We have about 1,500 instructors worldwide. New Zealand, Europe, all over Europe, Holland. We have a big center in Holland, all over the States.
That's
You know,
fantastic.
all over the States. I mean, you know, it is exciting. And it's growing rapidly because the teachers need, it's a program that you have to, it's not something you learn in 2.5 hours, like a Zumba training. This is years. You start teaching and you're a sort of an apprentice level as you're getting better and better over the years. So you go up from level 3 to 4 and then you're trained. But that takes 2 years, 3 years. And you need to do certifications in neurology and physiology and anatomy, and you need to learn what's triggering the muscles to move to be a high-level instructor. You can teach it and not have all those certifications, but to be really the high level where you can really make an impact on people's lives. And the beautiful thing is, the instructors, fitness instructors, love teaching fitness. And they just eat up the knowledge, and they want to be good. They've just not been given the information, and they haven't been shown, just because you learn anatomy, like a lot of these fitness programs want their students to have an anatomy certification, but they don't link the anatomy to the movement. So there's no connection. Like if you have an arm and you don't know what muscles move that arm and where they're started and ended, and it's okay, so you know it's useless information unless it's applied information.
So true.
Yeah.
And people sing your praises all the time, from your students to those you've taught as well. And we're actually going to take a look at your popular pledge program, Aging Backwards. The phones light up every time this program is on. So we're going to take a brief pause and we're going to show you a clip from Aging Backwards.
As I've aged, and I'm now 78, my body feels like I'm, I don't know, 60.
People are always commenting on how fit I look, and I say, well, that's because of Miranda.
My whole thing is if you can move and go, then you can get on with life. If you lay in bed and put ice on your back, it doesn't work.
I don't want to speak for you, but that has to make you feel fantastic. Just seeing your work in action and how many people have responded so well to that. I'm sure there are thousands. We just saw a sample in that clip. But is there one success story that sticks with you? Has someone reached out to you and said, Miranda, I couldn't get out of bed before watching your program, and now look at me?
Many. I mean, when we started getting the emails in, excuse me, I'm going to start crying. But
I'll be right there with you.
It was shocking. I mean, we would sit around at our little conference table at the office and all read these, and it makes you cry. How when you give the correct movements for people, the human body is designed to be self-healing, but you can't trigger the wrong things. You have to know how to trigger the correct healing process. And that's what this program does. And people with lupus and, I mean, fibromyalgia, stroke. One man who had a stroke, no, he was impaled with the stick shift when he was 17. And the stick shift went right through his brain. They thought he was going to die. And he his wife wanted me to come and see him. He recovered, but he's got a huge damage to his skull. And he's in Denver he's a 50-year-old man, and he is a very successful trial lawyer.
So he has recovered.
Yes, he recovered, but he had spent his whole life with one side from the stroke. So we worked with these techniques that the teachers learn. So a very high-level teacher, you can't just learn it your first day through. You need
Absolutely.
to. We worked, and in an hour and a half, he had opened his hand, relaxed his body, and he hadn't done that in 30 years, 35 years.
That is
I mean,
remarkable.
when he didn't believe he would be able to do that, but the human body is designed to respond. You just have to know how to talk to it. And so I've been working with doctors and neurologists and physiotherapists, researchers, and now I teach this to other instructors because this is something that you can teach it to anyone. It's not magic, it's just understanding, and it's so simple. That's the thing that surprised me. It's so simple.
It's simple for those at home as well.
For anyone to do it.
That's-
When someone like that can get a change, you can think of how people who have much less, just minor problems, their changes are massive and fast.
So
fast.
And it all starts with a single step. It's so cliche, but so many people have said that. And there are people who we hear from at the station. They'll call in and say, I haven't worked out in 30 years. I turn on the television in the morning. There's Miranda. Your approach and attitude are infectious. And I think that's one of the reasons why people gravitate towards you.
Thank you.
And again, it's something that is somewhat simple. I mean, you do
It
get
is.
advanced. You certainly
Yeah.
are moving,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the nice thing is our folks at home are going to be able to watch you put me to the test a little bit later on our web
Yeah,
extra
we're gonna do some
because we're going to
exercises,
get down to it,
Yeah.
and we brought a
Yeah.
change of clothes, so I
Yeah,
wouldn't be able
yeah,
to
yeah.
move in this, but we will certainly be
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah.
What I love is the fact that your daughter is following in
Right.
your footsteps. So tell us about that. How did that come to be? Did she just look at you and say, this is something I believe in, this is what I wanted to do? Did you say, hey, come on, we have to do this together?
You know what? I just found out because she gave a lecture about a month ago, and I really didn't know why she started. So I just found out in the lecture. She told her history,
I love
and
that.
it was so beautiful. So she was in Ireland, and while I was creating this program, so I was telling her, you got to come and try this. So she got back. She was about 19, and she did a class. And in her head, this is what I just found out. In her head, she was saying that because she had hated ballet and all this stuff, which my studio had ballet and jazz and for kids, and then aerobics and fitness for adults. And she didn't like any of that. She just liked the social life. So she came back from Ireland and did a class, and her whole body felt good. And she said, this is what I'm going to be dedicating my life to. But then she went on to get her master's in medical, medical economics, and work at Novartis. So it took another 8 years, but during the period that she was at Novartis, she started transferring and saying, okay, she wanted to turn what I was doing and make it worldwide and keep it on public television. It's because of her, because of Sarah, that we've been able to stay on public television, because it's hard to stay on public television. You know,
Very
that's
hard.
why we need pledges to
Absolutely.
keep, you know, so she kept the thing going and kept it moving forward, you know.
And that's amazing to carry on your legacy, but to
Yeah.
do it in tandem. The fact
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you're out there doing it, she's out there doing
Yeah,
it.
she's the business brains behind
That's
it.
wonderful.
I'm the science brains and she's the business
I
brains.
love that. You need both in order to
Absolutely,
be successful. And talking again, you talked about pledge drives and how important
Right.
that is to
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
drive the program.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we wouldn't have you if it wasn't for our pledge drives. With your pledge drive, you offer several different options. You have a DVD, you have an additional DVD, which would take you through the workouts,
Right.
and then you have your best-selling book. So
Yeah.
what was that emotion when you realized that my book, Aging Backwards, there it is up on the screen, that has made the New York Times best
Oh yeah,
sellers?
big celebration at the office, let
Oh.
me tell you. Yeah.
I can't even
Yeah.
imagine. But again,
Yeah.
right there, for folks who want to pick this up, if they're seeing you for the first time, I wonder where they've been, but if they are seeing you for the first time, that is out there. It's for them to get their hands on, start their reading,
Right.
break down the science.
It's the science that is what's changing people's lives. Once they read it, then, and that's what I'm going to be doing, a class, you know. So once they read the book and understand the science, then they will exercise. Without, you know, you can exercise and stop exercising. But when you know the science of what's aging your body, you will not stop. I'd exercise every day. I do the half hour every day because I know the science of my body.
So true. And it is addicting. Once you start, you don't want to stop because you start to pick yourself apart and
Yeah.
you feel
You
the
feel good.
effects of it. Right? You absolutely do.
I'm like 66 now, and I feel younger than I felt in my 30s.
And you look
I'm more
fantastic.
energetic, and I only do half an hour. That's it.
That's it. So you and I,
Yeah.
we are going to put this to
Great,
the
okay.
test a little bit later. Miranda Esmonde-White, thank you so very much for joining us. And we want to say thank you to the folks at home for watching as well. We want to connect with you and keep the conversation going. So head on over to our website, give us your feedback, and you can also go ahead and email us at connect@vermontpbs.org. Catch up on extra materials at vermontpbs.org. We will see you next time.